Hello YouTube and welcome on in. Today's stream is a little bit different because it starts with a Mixitup bot tutorial. This may not be for gamers out there, this is more towards streamers, so if you're not a streamer, go ahead and just skip past through this one, it's fine. But we will be talking about my game that I ran about a month ago. It's a mini game handcrafted by myself. It had 4 doors that we had to protect from monsters, and we just kind of went through how it worked, how you could build it in Mixitup bot. There's not a concrete lesson plan. You may have to watch certain parts over again. But I do hope that you enjoy it. I hope that you have a lot of fun with it. And I hope that you learn something if you are a streamer and you want to start doing some of the things that you've been seeing on my channel. Mixitup bot, OBS, one of the best ways to do it. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It really, really, really helps as I am trying desperately to get to that 500 or 1,000 subscribers. Thanks, everybody. Virus, I hope that you're having a great, great day. Welcome on in. Welcome on in, everybody. Okay. Let's talk Mixitup bot, because that's what we're going to do for the next 2 hours or so. I have to be honest, I don't have a huge lesson plan for anybody. If you have specific questions, you are more than welcome. You're heading to work. Did you already do Dead by Daylight? When did you send me that message? Was that yesterday? Am I just a sleepy, sleepy owl? Hold on. Shit, that was yesterday. Aw, well, I'm sorry. I thought you were playing today. I'm so sorry. Well, you have fun at work, I guess. I would have preferred to watch you play DBD. I was a very, very sleepy owl last night. Yeah, I was very sleepy. If anyone's not aware what that's from, that is from Owl House. If you've not seen Owl House, go watch it now. Close stream, go watch Owl House. That's how much I say go watch Owl House. If you have Disney Plus and you can watch Owl House, go watch it. If you don't have Disney Plus, go pirate it. I mean, don't do that. That's a terrible idea. But absolutely do and go watch Owl House. It's amazing. I love Owl House too. I love it. It's so good. All right, let's talk Mixitup bot. So, if you have any questions throughout this, please let me know. If it is too far off of what I'm doing, I might say like, "Hey, that's a great question for another time."
Another question. You better hurry up and answer it. Otherwise, the other witch things might get to you first.
If this is something that you like and want to see, I don't want to do this on my channel too much because it is kind of taking away from the magic of just the random things that happen here. But if this is something that you would like to see more of, please do let me know by the end of it. I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm going to do my best to kind of run through this and explain it. It's a new thing for me to do. And then if you are interested, we might continue to do something similar. We might do some more like subscriber only or Patreon stream or something like that, just specifically for this, because like I said, I want to make it kind of special. I do a lot of work with Mixitup bot. I enjoy my time here, and I want to share it with everybody as well. Just decided to load for you. Oh, well, I hope you get a chance to go play it. All right, so what we're going to talk about, before we can really talk about anything that I'm going to tell you, we're going to do a new command here, and we're going to talk a couple of these. So, commands are things that, they're the exclamation. For example, if I do exclamation demon hunter here, commands run in chat. They have special things. Everything that you do, you can create as a command. So, for example, that exclamation demon hunter there, very, very easy. This command right here, it is a little bit hard to see. I couldn't make the font bigger. I tried. I really tried. So this is a command here. It just uses the exclamation before demon hunter. It has one single command in it, which is to run a chat message, and it has a special placeholder so that it knows what to do with it. That's the real basic thing. Is Mixitup bot runs a command, or Mixitup bot looks for a trigger. Once it hits that trigger, it runs the command. It runs everything in that command, and it is up to you to tell it exactly what you want it to do. Now, triggers can be a lot of different things. Triggers can be someone talking in chat. That can trigger some things. Some triggers can be exclamation commands. Triggers can be events that happen on Twitch. So, for example, when somebody follows, that is an event that Mixitup bot can look for. It sees that follow, and then it does something. Triggers can also be channel point redeems. They can be a number of things. But the most important thing is you want to find your trigger. You want to know what your trigger is going to be, and then set up a command based on that. So, Um, once you figure out what you want it to do, then you go into a command. And like I said, this is chat commands. There's lots of places for these commands. There's Twitch bit commands. There's timers. There's where's Twitch channel points. All of these are triggers that Twitch can potentially do, and it gives you a space to put in the commands that you want it to do when you see that trigger. Does that make sense to everybody? Does anyone, before I move on, does anyone have any questions about like what a trigger is? And if I say like a triggering event or anything like that, normally when I talk about triggering events, I'm talking like socially and psychologically and stuff like that. But in this particular case, triggering events are good triggering events. Okay. If there are any questions about triggering events, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to keep moving on. All right. So once you've figured out what your trigger is, you're going to create a command. You're going to go into, for example, here we're going to go new command. There's a bunch of stuff to fill out here. I'm going to get into it at some point. Right now, it's not terribly important. Sorry, folks. I'm a little snuffly. If I keep being so snuffly, I'll go take something for it. All right. Once you're in this command, there's a couple really important things that I want to kind of go over real quick, which is consumables, counters. Okay? These two are the backbone of everything that I do. Have any of you ever played a game where like you need to go collect 100 pieces of wood before you're allowed to upgrade to the next thing or something like that, right? That is a consumable. So if you want your people to collect something and you want it saved on their person, on their account, you want that account to be noted as having this thing, that is what a currency does for you. You can see here in my list of stuff here, I have a huge number of currencies. Prime winner helped me track if there were winners. Upgrades told me during the point where there could be upgrades who had them already. There's player, there's hugged. These are all little things, and all that they do when you activate one of these is you say, give this user 5 of that. Right? That's all that does. The consumable egg, add to user 5. Now, with everything, you can also do subtract from user, you can reset, you can do lots of different things in this particular thing. But the general idea is if you are doing a currency, you are putting a note on that account. You are saying this account has this thing. Counter is the opposite. Counter to me is like a world state. So we're talking about making mini games and games and stuff, right? For example, look over there where it says the egg is bored now. There is a counter currently going. Let's see if I can pull that up real quick. There is a counter currently going, and it's taking a while to load because it's running. Okay. And that says that the egg has a need. And right now it's looking at the egg need, right? The egg need is on. That's why that board is there. And later when it checks and it says, is the egg need, this is a counter, by the way. This is what a counter does. Is it 1? Great, do this. Is it 0? Great, do this. That's all it does. We're going to go ahead and close that without saving. We'll go ahead and pick back up our command here. So consumables are personal save data. If that makes sense to anybody, consumables are personal save data. Counters are world save data. Okay, so those are the two things that we were talking about is consumables, personal data, counter, world data. This is how I tell that my entire stream is doing this. This is how I tell that an individual person is doing something. Currency, counter. All right. The reason I bring this up is let's talk about this thing right here.
Bow down and worship mortals. I am free, and the world will burn before me.
We're gonna take a second. We're gonna turn off the egg event for just a second. We're not gonna turn it off. We're just gonna hide it for a second. All right, so this right here, the top right of my screen, you'll see a monster and you'll see 4 doors. This is a mini game in and of itself. We can also do uh do do do. This is one of those times where you need to remember what you type in. Hold on. Okay, so this is our mini game. It's got 4 doors, it's got a monster, it's got an inspiration, right? There's a lot of stuff packed into this, but it's actually not that difficult. First thing it's going to start with is this combat attack timer. This is the heart of what this is. Okay? Okay, so, sorry, I'm actually jumping ahead of myself. Counters are really easy to create. You just create them within the command. Currency is different. So if you see here, I have a bunch of currencies. I can add a currency. When I do, I can name it whatever I want. Well, not whatever I want. I can name it almost whatever I want. So I can call it blue. I can call it, you know, best witchling. Like, I can name it a lot of things. The one thing that I would say is that you want to make it something that's kind of lighter because you're going to have to type this in a couple times. So if you make your currency like 20
another
characters long, you're gonna have to
question.
type
You
it
better
every time.
hurry up and answer it. Otherwise, the other witchlings might get to you first.
Perfect. We're not going to talk about the is primary, is rank system. We can look at the max amount. If you put nothing here, this is nothing. It's not actually 0, it's nothing. There's nothing here. But if you put like say 1 or 2 or 20, you can actually limit this. And I'll talk a little bit about why that might be important later. Thank you for casting a spell. It looks like yourself. It didn't backfire though. It's just a silly thing. The one thing that I would say here is it does have by default this online rate, so you can create a currency. In fact, if you wanted to do something entirely separate from Twitch channel points, you could create your own currency, run in Mixitup bot, and you could say, you know, I want this to get 1 per hour or 1
Well,
per
hello,
minute
you
or
wonderful little
something like that.
mortals. Just remember, it is the witch's
You
first
can
subathon.
custom.
Give subs to increase her time. And when we hit certain levels,
Oh,
we'll
she's
have
gonna do
fun,
that.
special
Let me
prizes.
turn that off. Hold on.
Ooh, look at that one. At 20, you'll get to earn my favor again. Now, isn't that
Oh,
worth it?
I'm sorry, Cowboy. The monster's gonna be on the screen because I'm explaining how this works. We are gonna turn off Domina as soon as it's done there. All right, so you could set it to a custom rate where you can give yourself like, or you can give your people 100 per minute. You can do whatever you want. But if you're using it like I am using it for current save for personal save data, you want disabled because what you don't want is anyone to have a way of getting the currency that you're doing except for how you specify. So currency you do have to make beforehand. Counters you can kind of make on the fly. Yes, so this first hour or two is going to be a Mixitup bot tutorial. If you are curious about how I do things, if you have a question, if you would like to ask anything like that, go ahead. Like I said, if you enjoy this sort of thing, we are going to do it more of it in the future, potentially on like Patreon or something like that. But I just kind of wanted to show what I've got, and I promised people that I would. Alright, so we're going to go to timers again. We're actually going to go down to this subathon page right here, and we're going to turn that off. Very easy. On, off, on, off. Now, Domina shouldn't pop up anymore and try to remind you that there's a subathon going on, because that was only for that day. Alright, so here we go. Here is the dragon attack timer. Now, one of the things that I will say is when I created this, I did not quite have in mind showing it to people. If I were to do this in a different way, I would label all of these things differently. Alright, so what does this timer do? Well, it is a 1 minute timer. If I don't know if you can see, but this is a 1 right there. It is a 1 minute timer, so every minute that Mixitup bot is running and my stream is running, it will do these things. That's all that it does. And if that's what you want for a mini game, if you have like something that's like, for 5 minutes I want it to do this and then I want it to turn off, timer's fantastic. If you have something that you want it to check like every minute or so for something, great. That's what this game did. Now I've experimented with it a little bit. I'm fairly certain you can actually do this here. I'm fairly certain you can go ahead and you can do that. Oh, no, it is not. Okay. I thought that you could. I guess 1 is the lowest that you can do. I may be thinking something else. So every minute's going to check it's going to do all of these steps. Now, what are these steps here? Well, the first thing it did, because back when this game was running, I don't know if you remember, there was mana. This is mana here. So the first thing this thing did every minute was give all the users in the game mana that they could use. It added 5 to all users, and then additionally, it added 5 more to anyone who is a subscriber. That is one of the things that you can do with consumables here, is you can set your consumable, you can add certain actions, and then you can also, like, apply additional requirements on that as well. Thank you, Panda. I hope that you're enjoying and you're learning, and again, if you have any questions, let me know. So that's all that this did, was that all users got 5, subscribers got a little bit more. You don't have to have this. You could turn it off. If you're not sure if you really want something, you can click this side thing here and you can turn it on and off without deleting it. So for example, let's say we didn't want to have that. We just want everyone to get 5. Let's just turn that off. Or you can do that. All right. The next thing that it did here is let's see, I think it's these here. These are conditionals. In order to explain a conditional, let's actually pop on over to our blank command and let's talk about them. So I told you about consumables and counters. Consumables, personal save data. Counter, world save data. Conditional is how you tell Mixitup bot to get a trigger and then look for additional requirements. Okay? So let's say this is being triggered by something and you want to say, look for a specific thing. And if you see that specific thing, do one thing. And if you don't see that specific thing, do a different thing, okay? So this first value here can be just about anything. There are some important things to note, though. If you use, for example, $user and then the name of your currency, user egg, right? Then when this command runs, it checks that user's egg. It checks their currency. It says what value is it, and then you can make choices based on that. For example, let's say the user mana, right? Back when mana was a thing. If we said that the user mana needs to be, this is, by the way, just a compare. So equal to, not contained in, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, and then a couple other things that don't really come up a lot, but once you need them, and they're great. Yep. Could you set up something like a love command where you can at somebody and it sends them your personal love heart emote with a custom message? Do you mean like in the chat or do you mean in whispers? Because that one is actually a fairly easy one to do. Because all you do is a chat command here. Or sorry, that is not an easy one to do. Actually, it is pretty easy. In chat, yeah. So what you could do, and we'll come back to conditionals here in a second, is you just simply do a chat message here. And it says username. So the person who activates this chat command. Let's get rid of that real quick. Username sends, and then use the $, and I believe it's target username. All the love. And then if you want to add an emote, what you need to do, you need to have access to the emote. So the account that Mixitup bot is using needs to have access to the emote. But let's say we wanted to do this fire heart, right? So we can take the fire heart, we can copy it over in chat, and then when you paste, it's actually going to show this here. So it's going to show like this Miss W25 fire heart. When you put that into a Twitch chat, it knows that it's a fire heart. We can call this one, I think I already have a love command, but I could be wrong. And then we're going to just trigger it with so the name of it doesn't really matter. This is for your records. So you could name it a lot of different things. You could name it like user interface love command if you really wanted to. You could just nickname it love. You could name it, chat command love, whatever you want to name it. This whole thing doesn't matter the name of it. No one is ever going to see that. At least I don't think there's a way for somebody to see it. This one is the more important trigger because this is what they're going to type with exclamation like up, exclamation plus whatever you put here. So you do want to keep it kind of light and easy. For example, I have exclamation demon hunter. No one ever remembers what that is. No one remembers it. So you might want to keep it low. But we'll hit the save here. And then if I do this now, love at Cowboy Panda. There you go. And as you can see, it now says that. And that one is actually just really easy to do. Yeah, that is all that is that is a single chat command. Now what you could do, by the way, is instead of doing that, we'll copy this, right? What I have here is I actually have a currency here called consent, right? Let's see this currency. It's in here somewhere. Where is it? Consent, right? I have this currency called consent, right? When you look at it, it only has one. You can only have one of them. You don't get them randomly because you have to consent for it. And then I think I had a command that says I consent, which basically allowed that sort of thing. So for example, if you wanted to make this a little bit more special, maybe they need to have some kind of requirement before they do so. You can put a conditional right here. We're going to call this consent check, right? Everybody loves consent. Then you're going to do this the $ user, so that it knows to look at the user. Hold on. Oh, no, it has to be this way. Target user consent. And then you want this to be greater than 0. As long as they have consented, it should be fine. Now, I'm going to be really sad if this is not the right way. I'm doing this kind of off the cuff, but I'm pretty sure this is the right way. And then we'll go ahead and we'll go do there. We'll put that right there. That's the chat message. And now we have a very simple conditional that is going to check the target person. And if it comes back saying yes, it will do this chat message. Now we can also copy. By the way, this is copy right here. And then we'll call this one consent check.
Oh,
fail,
another
right?
question. You better hurry up and answer it. Otherwise, the other witch things might get to you first.
You will remember as
Oh
well.
boy. So now what I've done here is I've taken this target user consent and I've set it, instead of saying greater than 0, equal to. So 0 should say that they have not hit the I consent command. They are not consenting. It doesn't work. And then we'll change this chat message and say, sorry, username, target username doesn't consent. And then what this should do is, once we save, if I did this correctly, now if I say love and I'm going to target Panda, I'm going to use it as an example again. Now it says, sorry, Panda doesn't consent. However, if I were to, because I'm fairly certain my account is, if I were to do that right there, Miss Wallowitch, I do have consent on my currency. I have consent on my user. It now allows me to put that through. And that's a very simple thing. It might be that. Let me go find it real quick. Um, commands. The biggest question is, where did I put it? I consent is consent. Yes. Okay, so that should have worked. So now if I do, well, that's the point though, Panda, is you should make things as, there you go. Now it says that I can send you all of my love, all the hearts. Um, that's the important thing, is that you want it to be so that anyone coming in can take one look at it, get a general idea, and then kind of guess at it. So the fact that I named it consent makes a lot of sense. That's a great way to make sure that people can do it. There you go. Fantastic. Now, I don't know if virus is consented or not, but we'll go ahead and we'll do love, and we're going to try virus, and we'll see. There you go. So as you can see, there's lots of cool things that you can do. That was a great example of conditionals. Actually, thank you so much. That's a great example. As you can see, it is a very simple tell it what to look for, tell it what you want it to be. If it sees those things, it does this next step down here. If it doesn't see those things, it doesn't do anything. If we were to say, for example, let's say we turn this off real quick. This is the thing that tells us that somebody isn't consenting. So if we were to try and say love at this person, sorry to use you, I just know that you're here, lurking, here we go. So now, because I turned that off, it doesn't tell me that that person isn't consenting. If you don't have a trigger and it doesn't see the trigger that it has to do something, it just won't do anything. And so you can use that to your advantage as well. Depends on how you want it to go. We'll go ahead and do that because we do want it to tell people, hey, like that person doesn't consent, you can't do that. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, there's so much you can do in Mixitup Bot. There is so much. All right, let's go back here. So we already talked about how this consumable, all I did was add mana to users. This conditional here, this has to do with the DK on this buff. So
Bow down and worship mortals. I am free, and
if
the
someone
world
would
will
be so kind
burn
as to catch him, I'd
before
really
me.
appreciate that. All right. So this conditional here, we should actually name this here, but this reads, damage buff is greater than 0. If that is true, and the buff DK, these are both counters, by the way, damage buff and buff DK, is equal to 3, do these things. What are these things? Well, the first thing it does is it subtracts 1 from the damage buff. You didn't know there was a Dairy King? What? There, what? Dairy King. Oh my. Sorry. So this subtracts 1 from the damage debuff, and then the next thing it does is it resets this counter. DK. I see what you mean. Why wouldn't that be Donkey Kong? Silly. Donkey Kong, which one are we getting at? I don't know, Panda. I don't know. I don't remember saying DK, but I probably did. Oh, DK, haha, buff DK, got it. Sorry, brain took a moment there. So this conditional, all this conditional does is it says if the damage buff is greater than 1 and this DK counter that I'm using is equal to 3, drop that inspiration by 1 and reset the counter for the DK, for the decay. Damn it, now I can't say DK without thinking about that. Thanks, Panda. Thank you for that. Thank you for the hearts. I appreciate it. All right. So this one here, this is actually, we'll rename this just so everyone can see it. This is lower buff. All right. So this will lower the buff. Oh, the egg does need something. Can we maybe move the egg somewhere for now?
Let me free. I wish to be free.
Here, we'll put the egg down there so that it can be visible. I do want to keep saying that monster, so please do not mind that monster is there. He's there on purpose. Please don't shoot my monster. Aw, thank you.
If you poke me again, you will not be getting that hand back.
Alright, what does this one here do? This one says if the damage buff is greater than 0, so right now it's at 4, it's greater than 0, but the buff DK, this counter here, is not greater than 3. What is it? Oh, is less than 3, excuse me. Is less than 3, do this. And all it does is it updates this. It updates the buff DK. And the reason it's doing that is it's trying to get to here, to this 3 right here. It checked, is it at 3? No? Fantastic. Great. Let's bring it up one so that next time I check it is higher. And remember, this is checking every minute. So essentially every, I think it's 2 minutes, you lose one of the buff. When this timer is running, whenever a minute goes, or 2 minutes goes by, you lose one of the buff. That's how you kind of make it, you know, not stick around forever. So this is buff DK count up. That's all this is doing, is that the DK on the buff is counting up. This one here, now this one is a doozy. As you can see, there are a lot of triggers. So what does this say? This says minion active, minion 1 active. This, by the way, this is another counter. Ooh, thank you. Thank you for saying nice things to the egg. It feels so much better when everyone does. It's going to ask, is the minion active? Is 1 active? Is 2 active? Is 3 active? Is the dragon active? This symbol here, though, this is not. So this is not 1. If the minion 1 is not active and minion 2 is not active, minion 3 is not active, the dragon is not active, but the peril, this is another counter right here, and the dragon attack both equal the maximum that they can be. Uh-oh, the dragon attacks. That's what this ability, this thing does right here. What does it do? Well, the first thing it does is it resets the dragon attack. This is a counter. The only thing that this counter is doing is counting up until the dragon appears on screen. So it's going to reset that because now it got what it wanted. The dragon attacked. The next thing it's going to do is it's going to reset peril as well. We want those back to 0 because once again, those counters are working as counters. They are just counting up from 1 to 9 and then doing something. Again, every minute. Every minute counts 1, 2, 3. Once it hits 9, it does a thing. Then it's going to run the activate dragon command, and I'm going to show you what those are in just a little bit, okay? But for what you need to know right now is that the dragon becomes active. And then for the streaming software, you can set this to OBS. You're going to want to say something like
I'm a little
source.
teapot,
Oh,
lisp and
excuse me.
vicious. Try to pour me
Aw,
out,
thank
and you'll
you.
need to beg for my forgiveness.
I appreciate it, Panda. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I hope that, 1, that you are learning anything that you want to learn here, and 2, I'm not going super fast. Now, what I do encourage people is this VOD will be on YouTube, by the way. If you want to go back through and be like, okay, what the fuck was she talking about at different points, feel free to do so. Although apparently I might have to cut that out because YouTube doesn't like the F word. All right, and it looks like another break's coming up soon. Thank you, though. I really appreciate the bits. I really do. Okay, so this is the OBS Studio. This is streaming software. It's going to tell OBS Studio to change the source ability of this is the source name. This is Dragon. I'm going to pop this on over here real quick. Sorry, folks. That's so unfortunate. How can I show you? So this box right here, I know. I'll try to cover up the screen as much as possible so that you don't see the just like never-ending rainbow effect. This is my sources right here. You can see it's got a bunch of different things on it. On the Archdragon setting here, there's a source in my OBS called Dragon, and Mixitup Bot is just going to turn it on. That's all that it does, is it turns this on or off so that people can see that the dragon is active. All right, we're going to pop that right back over there. Oh, wow, the source box went with it. Okay, we're going to pop that right back in there as well. I don't know. YouTube is so strange, Panda. There are times where YouTube works wonders and it's fine, and there are some times where they give a crap about like the weirdest thing. So I don't know. Okay, so that is what this conditional here. This is the dragon attack. That's all that this does is it checks for peril and dragon attack, and that there isn't already a creature active. This is not
Oh,
necessary, but it's a
another
good
question.
failsafe.
You better hurry up and answer it. Otherwise, the other witch things might get to you first.
Panda, thank you. Please make sure that you're only giving things that you can, but I do appreciate the 20 and then the 18. Let me play you another song. 18 is close enough. Let's play another song. Let's play Baby Shark.
Absolutely not. I will not sing that.
Yes, you will.
Baby shark do 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 do. Baby shark do 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 do. Do do do. Oh, I hate you.
Yeah, good try. Alright, so this is the dragon attacks thing. The next one down is counting up to the dragon attack. That's what this is going to do. So again, it's going to check that none of the monsters are active. It's going to check that the peril is at 9. But then it's going to say, is the dragon attack at 4? And if the dragon attack is not at 4, by the way, this is currently set as not as 4. It could just as easily be less than 4. It just happens to be the symbol that I chose on this one. It doesn't always matter, but when it does matter, it does. So sometimes just make sure that you're a little better optimized. So what this says is the peril, this counter. What peril means is it's just a counter that I set up. And peril for me is a monster coming out. So it says if the peril is at 9, but the dragon attack, the thing that's counting up, is not at 4, do this instead. And what does this do? It counts up towards the dragon attack. It resets peril, and then it summons a minion. That's right, it summons a minion. This random here, by the way, this is going to be your best friend. I'm going to go through it here in a little bit. Right now, actually. So, a special identifier. This is a kind of command that you can put down. And all it says is when you see the $sign and this string of text, do this. And there's a lot of reasons why you would want to. One of the best ones is making it a math expression. When you make this a math expression and you happen to know what they are, and you can look these up, by the way, there's a Mixitup Wikipedia that has like an explanation on all of these things. It is your best friend. If you are, by the way, love the head pats. Isn't that Ruby's? Do you have Ruby? Are you? Ooh. Oh, it's beautiful. I love it. Aww. Okay, sorry, I got distracted. When you say random 4 here, it's going to generate a random number. That's all that random does. Somewhere between, I think it's 0 and 3 here. And so in the next conditionals here, this $random minion is just saying random 4. Whatever this random 4 ended up being, that's what it's looking for. When you run a special identifier for that command, it creates this string of letters and whatever it actually stands for, and it saves it. So this is going to roll. It's going to generate between 1 and 3.
They all laughed, falsely believing themselves safe.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then it will say, is random minion equal to 1? Great, do these things. Is it equal to 2? Great, do these things instead. What about 3? Is it equal to 3? Great. One thing that I will say, by the way, your last one, I would just do greater than or equal to whatever your last is, just in case something goes wonky. Just in case. But this is just summoning a minion. In fact, let's name that what it is. It is summoning a minion. Hold on, wait. Right? This is what it's doing, yep. Summon minion. Now, if we wanted to be more consistent, we could actually go up here and we can call this actually summon dragon. All right. Thank you. I hope that you're enjoying this. I hope that you're learning. I tried. I really tried to find a way to up the text here. I know this is a little hard to see. So far in this stack right here, and remember, this is just one timer. We have every minute check add currency, lower the buff if you need to. If you're not at the point where you can lower the buff, up the count that says I would like to lower the buff. And then if conditions are met, summon dragon. If conditions are met, summon minion. All right, let's talk about this here. This is simply saying if there are no things active, if the minion is not active, minion 2, minion 3, minion 4, sorry, dragon 4. If these are not active, just increase the peril. That's all it does. And that is the heart of this is how this is counting up. So if you want something that says like, let's say you want something to activate every 10 minutes, well, you can just set your interval here to 10. If you really, really want to. You could do it that way, and that's okay, you can. But if you want it to do other things in that time with the same timer, you can set it to 1, and you can use essentially a counter, a conditional and a counter to count up to a certain effect that you want. So all that this condition is doing is, all this conditional here is doing is counting up to minion. Every minute, it's going to say, are these minions activated? No. Count up so that we can get to a minion. This one here, now this is interesting. This all here has been about getting a minion out on the field. Getting the monster on the right side of the screen, over that way, yeah, fantastic, to activate. This here, though, is now going to say, this is active. This is when a monster attacks. So the active monster is going to attack. Don't accidentally hit copy paste. 1, you never remember what you've copied last. It could be embarrassing. And 2, that was wrong. So here we are. This is the active monster attacks. So the first thing that this timer did was it checked to see if it needed to activate a monster. Once it decided if it needed to activate a monster, now it's going to say, but what if there was a monster activated? This here, and I'm gonna take a moment here to say, if you are watching this, especially if you're in the future, if you're looking through this, if you're watching it and you're enjoying, and you see things that could be better, great. This is one of my very first really strong events. There is coding in here that probably is unnecessary. There is coding that I have learned to do better since then. But this is what is possible with this bot and more. This is just the start of it. Aw, thank you for soothing the egg with Ouija Boo. I love Ouija Boo. She is so funny. It's very fiery, too. Very, very much love for Ouija Boo. Alright, so we have ourselves. Now this is going to say, is any of the minions activated? Now, I could do this a different way, by the way. You're going to see that these 3 conditionals down here, all this says is minion 1 attack, minion 2 attack, sorry, we're going to make this real quick. Come here. Minion 1 attack, minion 2 attack, and then this is minion 3 attacking. Now, what I could do is I could have just simply put these all as their own separate one, but this is an organizational thing here. I wanted a single section that says minion attacks, and then these separate ones here say, okay, which minion is active? Which minion will get to attack? This also left it possible that if I happen to have 1 or 2 minions active at the same time, they could all potentially attack. And then this is just going to run in a command. That's all that this one does, is it says which minion is active, Great, now make it do its attack. And once again, I will go through these. I am so gonna go through these because let me tell you, there was so much that went into this. I'm gonna go through it. You're gonna be amazed, hopefully. Or there's gonna be one person in the comments that was just like, why didn't you just do this? And I'm gonna be like, because I didn't think about it. Alright. So this runs the rip attack. This other one here runs the tear attack. And the final one here is gonna run the sunder attack. And we are almost through the timer. This one here, all this says is dragon attacks. Not to be confused with the summoning the dragon, this is actually where the dragon would attack. Same thing, it's going to look for a counter that says the dragon is active. So this counter is named dragon active, and when it is at 1, that means the dragon is active. And it's going to do a dragon attack. How shocking. And then the final thing that it does here is there is a spell that is a damage debuff. And when that is active, it should clear. And I specifically put this here so that people couldn't try to like put it on early and have it still sitting there. It should only be between each attack. The one problem that we ran into is Sunder actually would attack and then remove it instead of getting the double attack, and that was a little strange. Or maybe it wasn't Sunder. Somebody, oh, the dragon. The dragon would do an attack, but do like their charge up instead of an actual attack, but still remove the debuff. And that was on me. I should have found a different way to do that. But all this does is remove the acid effect on the one spell. And then it also turned it off if it was active. All right, before I go into anything else, did anyone have any questions on this right here? This is so it's a complicated stack, but it is also a very simple stack. It is a timer stack. It is a 1-minute timer that says, I would like you to do this thing every minute. First thing I want you to do, give everybody mana. The second thing I want you to do is check to see if you need to lower the debuff, and if you don't,
I am free,
note that you do need to be moving towards that. Then summon anything that needs to be summoned.
Another question. You better hurry up and answer it. Otherwise, the other witch things might get to you first.
You're supposed to be turned off. Did we turn that on again? We must have turned that on accident. Don't look at those. Alright. So let's see. Where did our timers go? Sorry, friends, that is supposed to be turned off. I don't remember turning it back on, but maybe I did on X. What? What are you doing, Domina? You shouldn't be activating a question. Well, that was certainly strange. I have no idea why she tried to say that there was a question, because there isn't a question. Okay, well, that was odd. Alright, so, now we have here, Right, I was saying that this is summons the dragon. If there is nothing to be summoned, it will count up to summon a minion. And then if there is a minion active, it will make an attack and remove the damage debuff. Alright, we're going to go ahead and hit save on that one. If there are any questions on that, please let me know. We are going to now go through the different attacks. And those are commands, and the reason that they were written that way is because it started to bog down. There were so many commands, it was actually starting to get a little bit crazy. So let's go take a look here. So the Activate Dragon is actually a really easy one. If you remember, the command that we just went through, the timer, the Dragon Attack Timer, it had 4 separate activate commands, and it just referred to a different command. That's what this is here. So in that timer, oh, hello there.
Heed my words, Virus 1, 1980. Our duel will continue until you are dust before my feet.
Beautiful. All right. So what this says is if if it runs this command, it is going to change dragon active. This is a counter. Remember, this is a world state save. This is going to say on the stream, the dragon is active. It just increases this counter, and then everything else refers to this. It's just a number. It's not actually even a visual. It's going to set the dragon HP to 200. That is the thing that everyone is shooting at. And it's going to set the dragon weight to 0. Why is this important? The dragon weight will come up when we go through the dragon attack. This is how the dragon had a charge up phase and then an attack phase. This chat message, you'll notice that it is actually grayed out. I turned it off so that it's not playing. It's also scratched through. All it did was it told me that when this ran, it actually ran. So this, I don't know if you can see it really well, but this is $dragon active. And so if you were to say run this chat message here real quick, excuse me, you have to turn it back on. It's just going to give you it's going to switch out this $dragon active for whatever the counter is currently at. And as you can see, the counter is currently 0, which means the dragon is not active. It doesn't do anything. And I include this. So when you're creating a system, what I would do is I would do a chat command in all of your systems that tell you what the state is after the command is run. So if you say, say you have a counter that is going to tell you that, a monster is active, and then you have another counter that's going to set its hit points, and then you have a counter that's going to like put a debuff on everybody for the rest of the game, right? Those are 3 counters. In your command, put a chat that says, command ran successfully, and then name the 3 counters that you're activating and use the $, the name of the counter, so that you can see exactly where it is. And I have to say, it will save you. It really will. I'm going to set that aside for just a second. If you're a programmer, I'm not a programmer, but I dabble in programming. When you notate for yourself what things are doing, it makes it a lot easier when you're like, okay, so what is going wrong, to go through each command. And if you click a command and you know that at the end of the command, it is supposed to, make the dragon attack or something like that, and it's not attacking, you can go and you can see it and go, that's weird. Why does it say the dragon's not active? What is going on to make that dragon not active and not do the attack that it's supposed to do? All right. And then the final thing that this does is it turns the dragon visible. OBS, source visibility, dragon, make this dragon visible. The monsters, they do the same thing. So activating monster 1, 2, or 3, it's just going to turn on this activated counter. It's going to set its hit points. It's going to say this thing is active, and we'll go ahead and actually turn that off so that we don't have to see it. Excuse me. Turn that off. Thank you. And then it's gonna go turn on the source that you have labeled for monster in OBS. Now, as for the attacks, looks like the egg is bored. If anyone wants to go ahead and do that, I would appreciate it. Let's move this back on in the middle of the screen. Perfect. Now we have the dragon. Well, let's start with Rip. Rip is the most basic monster. So, they've actually been moved over to a new heading, and that new heading is Minigame. So here is Rip's attack, and be prepared for a doozy. Okay. So first off, it does have an attack name. By the way, I didn't point this out earlier. It's taking a while to load. It's actually, yeah, that happens a lot.
Every broad.
Flamey, welcome on in. Also,
And when the dust settles,
mix it up, but why are you like way off to the side? Hold on, friends. Yeah, Mix It Up Bot got moved to the side. No wonder it's not firing properly.
Welcome on in.
That's weird.
Oh no, he changed his name. I'm not saying it. I like the old one better.
Please just say the name.
Fine.
please just say the name.
Flamey234 is here. Me.
I don't know if you've heard that one before, Flamey, but yeah, she's not very happy that you changed your name. Welcome on in. We're going over some things. So let's go into the rep attack here.
The Vanquisher and Kitsune, Ruby Miditaku-chan, has arrived.
Ruby, welcome on in as well. If you are just joining us, friends, we're going to go for another half hour or so. We're going through our Mix It Up bot commands for the attack, for the dragon attack event that just happened. We are about halfway through, so we've gone through the dragon stack, and now we are looking at the attack commands that these things do. So now that they are active, what do they actually do to make an attack? And there's a lot in here. Before I get to that, though, how are you doing? How's it going, everybody? I'm having a lot of fun. We're kind of going through Mix It Up, but I will have to say, between my stuffy nose and my head, I'm having a little bit of a headache, but we're doing pretty good. It's really good to see everybody. And as you can see, Panda changed their name, and Flamey is being cool, and everybody's being cool. All the cool people. All right, brain backfired on me for a second. All right, this is the monster attack, and this is where it gets complicated. Like, seriously complicated. Oh, that's what's happening. Notice that this damage debuff resets right here too. That's why things were resetting when they weren't supposed to. Interesting. Okay. So this is Rip attacking. Now, first thing it's going to... Wait, why are you doing door check this way? We are discovering some issues. Hold on. That works way better. Fantastic. So this door check should actually run after the monster attacks. My bad. Okay. So here's what this does. Oh my god, this is long. There's a lot to this. Aw, you're backfired into the nearest broom closet. Poor Ruby. That's unfortunate for you, friend. Don't worry, I'm sure it's a very nice broom closet. Alright, so the first thing that this thing does is check once again that minion 1 is active. Now you might think that that's very silly, but you know what? It's still a good idea. It's never a bad idea to have a double check. If the command to fire off this command requires that minion 1 be active, and this command requires that minion 1 be active, there's no chance that this is going to fire when minion 1 is not active. Alright, are you ready for this? Yep, here it goes. This is all doors available. This is where the real challenge came in. If all doors are available, I had to tell it what to target. So if all doors are available, it is going to roll. Remember that special modifier that I talked about? It's going to create this one called the target, right? It's going to randomize, and then it's going to pick a target, right? That's what this does. So when all doors are available, it's going to pick, this is random. I know that it says 5, it's 4 for some reason. It generates from 0 to 4, which is actually why it's actually a really good idea to do this or to start at 0. I don't like to do that. But if we do target 1 is less than or equal to 1, that will catch anything. Finally, a success. Good job, Ruby. I appreciate you. And then, Ruby, I have no idea why you keep going in the closet. I don't have any control. I think it's just kind of, it does its own funny thing sometimes. Alright, so here's what this is going to do. The first thing it's going to do is it's going to look to see how many doors are available. In this instance, all of them are available because there is a counter here that says door destroyed. And if this counter is not turned on, it doesn't do anything. Aw, thank you for shouting out, Ruby. I appreciate it. Look at that amazing picture. I love it. I love it. I adore it. If all doors are available, it's going to roll. It's going to roll between 1 and 4, at which point it will target whatever door is that target.
Oh, another question. You better hurry up and answer it. Otherwise, the other witch things might get you at first.
Here's where it gets really fun, friends. Now that it has picked its target, right, it's going to create a special identifier. And what this special identifier is monster damage. It will roll a random 1 through 10. It's going to add 10, right? So this means that somewhere between 10 and 20 should be rolled. Sorry, technically somewhere between 10 and 19 should be rolled. And then it's also going to subtract the damage debuff. So if you wonderful witchlings had put, there shouldn't be a question active. What on earth is happening? Well, congratulations on the points that shouldn't be active. I must have clicked something on accident. Huh, odd. All right, so what this will do is it generates an amount of damage. So the monster damage is random plus 10 plus this damage debuff, which allows you wonderful witchlings to use your acid spell, which caused a damage debuff. The next special identifier is called new HP, and the reason this is set up this way is this is door 1 being attacked. So what it does is it goes and finds door 1's HP and subtracts the monster damage from it. This special identifier creates damage. This one uses that special identifier to actually deal damage. Then the counter is going to door 1. This is where door 1's HP is. Remember how I said counters are like world save states? These doors are shared between everybody. Everybody has 100 hit points on that door. They're not like if Ruby's door gets hit, everybody's door gets hit because there's only 4 doors for everybody. And so door 1 HP is going to be set to this special identifier, which was door 1's former HP minus monster damage. It's going to say that this happened, Rip attacked and dealt so much damage. And then it's going to do this. It's going to do this little thing here. Now, as you can see, that monster hit is a little bit off. The biggest problem was that this screen got moved around a little bit more. But you can adjust that. So let's say we adjusted the position here. We'll try it again. Hello? Did I break it? I broke it. Hold on. Hold on. It's thinking. You can do it. Mixitup bot does not like to be played with while it's also running. All right, friends, hold on, please. Should be working now. There we go. So since this is supposed to be a hit on door 1, we'll actually adjust this to the left a little bit more. Oh, it really doesn't like being messed with. Okay, we're not going to mess with it anymore. You get the idea, though, is that we could sit here and we could adjust that over and over until it hit wherever 1 is. You just don't want to move it afterwards. When you're doing this, it won't know where the door is to hit. It's just going to hit a certain part on the screen, and you're going to want to make sure that your OBS is lined up where it's going to hit. Same thing is true with all overlay images. And if door 1 didn't get it, door 2 would have. And if door 2 didn't get it, door 3 would have, and so on and so forth. Okay. And then this next one here says, well, what if... Remember this one has... excuse me. What? Go away. Hold on, friends. Technical issues. Closed one too many things at a time. Come on. You can do it. I just know it. Anytime today, friend. Sorry, friends. Once you get into Mixitup bot with something that it's has trouble with, it can start getting a little glitchy like this. All right, so this was all doors available. Well, this next one, right here, this is door 1 destroyed. And the only thing that it does here, and once again, if there's a better way to do this, great. I'm sure that there is, but this is how I did it. If door 1 is destroyed, it does the same thing. It rolls a target, but this time, door 1 is just not an option. You can see here, when it does damage, it's actually dealing damage to door 2, even though the target is target 1. And this just continues. That is all that this continues to do. Is it goes through the list and says, is door 1 available? Yes, great, let's roll for it. Is door 1 and 2 destroyed? Awesome, don't include those. And then deal some damage. That's it. And then finally, we have the door check. Let's go ahead and pull the door check out. So if you're looking at this attack right here, you'll notice that this is the attacks right here. All of these are attacks. Oh, it looks like it's bored. Uh-oh, if anyone wants to catch that, or to entertain the egg, I'd appreciate it. Then it's going to, once it's done its attack, it's going to do a different command called door check. And when you go into door check here, what door check is going to say is, hey, door 1's HP, is it below 0?
I was hoping you'd mess up. They really have nothing on you, do they?
Is it greater to or equal to greater, or is it less than or equal to 0? Yes? Okay. Was door 1 already marked as destroyed? And if the answer is no, because 0 is a no. Again, with most things, 0 is no, 1 is yes. Door 1 is now at 0 hit points, but it wasn't recorded as being destroyed. It must have been destroyed this turn. In which case, it is going to play the video of it being destroyed. It is going to change the visual. This image source here, by the way, this is how you can change a visual. So you image source, you say which source you want, door 1, you make sure that it says visible, excuse me. But then this browse here is you can set it to a different, like a different image. So if I were to say run this, it's going to change it, as you can see, from a fully great looking door to a destroyed door. And then this is just, it's going to then say this door is destroyed. Why is it important? Because when you say that this door is destroyed, if Rip attacks again, and as you can see, door 1's HP is still under 0, but now it's going to say that door 1 has been destroyed. It knows that it didn't happen this turn, and so it doesn't do the rest of these commands. And then it also, for reasons, it actually sets the door to 666 hit points. Oh, and if someone could catch that. It actually does set the door to a really high set of hit points, and the purpose for this was for something else. It became obvious to me that I really needed to set the hit points to something else so that something else functioned. And it's just going to go through that and do the whole thing.
I wish to be free.
This is a wait command. Wait commands can be your friend. So if you're ever noticing that, for example, this stuff...
If you poke me again, you will not be getting that hand back.
Thank you, Flamey. I appreciate it. If you notice, by the way, that you are having like 2 commands running at the same time when they're not supposed to, or you're supposed to generate a special number, and it doesn't like generate for some reason before it's supposed to use it, put in a wait. While technically Mixitup bot is supposed to wait between each steps, or at least run each step in order, it can say, okay, I'm running the special identifier, but before it finishes running within a fraction of a second, it's already started the next step, and then it like skips through it. So wait is your friend. You can use it when it feels like your conditional isn't working properly. You can use it when there's a lot of things that it needs to check before it does this step. You can also use it as, this particular wait here is probably so that it can run like the images and the sounds without doing the next thing. And here's what this thing says. If at any point after an attack, every single one of the door destroyed flags is up, is set to true, is set to 1, tell everybody all the doors are destroyed, run an ad from Twitch. Yep, Twitch can do, Mixitup can run ads for you. And then reset the doors. And this command just resets all those counters and stuff. Does anyone have any questions on the monster attacks? Because that's I've shown so far the logic for the monster, the logic to bring out a monster, and now the logic for the monster to attack. Before we switch to our other thing, because I know I got a later start, we are going to go through the spells, because that was the other half which you guys got to participate in. So I will hold for a few minutes for questions. In fact, if you all want to put the questions, I'm going to go refill my drink real quick and take a super quick break. If you want to put your questions in the chat, I'll be right back. If not, when I come back, we're going to talk about the spells. And I'm going to be real honest, the spells are going to be a little laggy because there's a lot in there. Let's close all these things. All right, I'm going to go to a break. If you want to post a question, go ahead. I'll be right back. All right, folks, welcome on back. Thank you for that. And thanks for poking the demon again.
Falsely believing themselves safe.
So I did want to just briefly go through here real quick. Tier functions under the same thing, but they were actually easier to do.
You are absolutely horrible at this game. Did you just start?
Thanks, Flamey. I appreciate it. So let's see, where'd tier go? So tiers is very similar. Remember, this is the mouser, the one that attacks the lowest door. All that it said was that if door HP is less than door 1 and less than door 2 and less than door 3, attack this one. And if door HP for 3 was less than 1 and 2, or less than or equal to 4, attack door 3. And then the next one, similar thing, if it is greater than, or if it is less than door 1 and is less than or equal to 3 or 4, attack this door. And then finally, if door 1 is less than everything or equal to everything, attack door 1. So in order of priority, tear will destroy door 1, door 2, door 3 if there is no difference between all of them. And that's all that really does that. And then Sunder, you take Rip's attack and you just copy the thing and you do it twice. All right, let's talk about, there is one final thing that is very, very important. If you do not want other people able to use your commands to mess with your minigame, let's say, for example, somebody got a bright idea and they're like, what would be really cool is if I can see that, attack M1 is a command. If I use this, like I can just have the minion attack as much as I want. Well, not really, because here, under usage requirements, simply set the role that people need to have to whatever you want, whether it's follower, subscriber, moderator, or streamer herself. For anything that is a system, so if you're making a mini game and anything that's a system, I would set it to streamer only in this usage requirement. These answer B and C, right? These actually require the users to use them, so they're set to that. But look, everything else here is set to streamer only, except for my moderators can technically reset the minigame if they want to. This is going to be one of those, if y'all do and there's not a reason for it, I'm going to talk to you about your mod privileges. But if you saw that it was going wrong or something, and I'm like, can someone reset that? That would be something that a moderator could do if they wanted to. All right. Let's talk about the fun part. Yeah, let's go over here. So, in the minigame, cast a spell is now under the minigame. The first thing that I'm going to say is, unfortunately, this is not the same as what we used in the event. I had to change it around a little bit. It's the same general principle, but there's a couple things. First off, you'll notice that the heal is turned off. The heal, no mana, and the heal, this is turned off. So, even if you were to type in the requirements for these things, you would not get them. Hold on. It's being slow. The biggest problem with trying to work on cast a spell while stream is running is simply that because it is such a big command, it does take a lot out of it. All right, so there's a couple things in here. First off, this is a channel point redeem. It is triggered. Remember, we talked about triggers. It is triggered by players going down and hitting the channel point redeem. Now, when you look at that channel point redeem, by the way, you'll notice that it's going to ask you to put in a message, and that is so that you can do the following. This is the attack buff. You'll notice that this says $message. So if what you want is your thing to look at the mess, if you have it triggered by someone's message, you have to look at that message and you have to type in exactly what you want to see from them. So, for example, this here is looking for this series. So if we were to take this right here, we'll take this, and we were to copy it and we're to pop it over here into my chat, it's going to make a selection of emotes, just like this. And so that's what this is looking for, is it's looking for your message to have whatever this message is here. Now, you can write a lot of things in here. You could write a specific phrase, you could write your name, you could write the person's username, you could write a number of things. It does not matter. For my game, I used emotes. If the person clicks this button and they put in this emote, it is going to do this effect. It is going to increase... it's going to do one of two things. It's going to get into a conditional here. First thing it's going to say is the damage buff already equal to or greater than 5? Because that was the maximum besides special events. If the answer is yes, tell that person, I'm so sorry, but it's already as high as it can be. If it's not greater than 5, if it's 4 or less, do this instead. And what does it do? Well, it plays this little video and it updates the damage buff counter. Again, world state. Everybody has this damage up, so the counter increases the damage up for everybody. Then it's got a message and a sound attached to it. That's all that buff does, is it says, hey, did they enter this message? Yes, and is the inspiration at a level that we're allowed to raise it? Yes, fantastic. Attack spells. Okay. Now, the first thing that attack spells do is they check to see if a minion is active. And once again, look at this. This is just $minion1 active. That's all it's looking for. It does not care if the minion is visible. It does not care if the minion is actively attacking. If this flag, if this counter is set to true, if it is set to 1 instead of 0, do this. This is the first time, I think, by the way, this is OR. If you look at this clause, this operator, you can say OR and an XOR. XOR means it can be any of these things, but only one of them. If multiple are true, don't do it. And says all of these have to be true, and then OR says if any one of these is true, do this thing. So, again, attack spells. If any of these minions are activated, go into the attack spells. What's the first thing? Well, let's see. There's Magic Missile. Excuse me. Hello? Can we do the thing? Hold on. It's being slow. Come on, you can do it. I believe in you. Yeah, you got it. I believe in you. There we go. So the first thing that you'll notice in Magic Missile is it actually says the message does not contain this, and that was supposed to be so that if you typed in a spell code, it wouldn't accidentally Magic Missile and then do the other thing. Also, notice here, it says the username is not Ruby. That comes in later, and I'll explain why. But if they type in a message and it is anything but these things here, it's going to do an attack. What does that mean? Well, first it's going to say, is RIP active? Yes, fantastic. Here is the player damage, which is random plus a certain amount, plus the user level, plus the damage debuff. The minion 1 HP minus this player damage. Grab that counter and set it to whatever this new monster HP is. And then say that person dealt damage. Pretty simple flow. Generate an amount of damage. Attack, add that or subtract that damage from the current HP. Set the current HP or the new HP to whatever this new thing is. And then tell them that you indeed attacked. Does the same thing with all of these. It used to require that you needed mana. I removed that. Now what it also does is once it's finished its attack, it's going to go ahead and add 5 of this is September's kind of currency points. It was adding the event currency points. That's all this does. Consumable. Add a currency to the user and do an image. Firebolt. Now this is going to require this specific thing. Message equals this. If you don't have this specific thing, it does not work. Once again, it's going to deal damage to rip, tear, and sender. But this one is special. Why is this one special? I'll show you in a second. Come on, computer, you can do this. I believe in you. Come on, we can do this. Sorry, folks. It's just struggling because it does not like to do Mixitup bot while the stream is running. All right, this is Fireball. Why is this special? We're going to click Rip here. Rip, remember how I kept telling you that everyone that Rip was really susceptible to fireballs? Here's why. If you look in this, the random damage against Rip when you're using Fireball is 11. That's how random it is. And then if you look at, say, Fireball against Tier here.
Another question. You better hurry up and answer it. Otherwise, the other witch things might get to you.
Well, this is embarrassing. Why is that not correct? Oh, see, there it is. +5 at the end. That is the bonus damage to Rip. So this always deals 5 more damage to Rip than any other spell. If you look at attacking Tier, no bonus damage.
Have your fun.
Attacking Sender,
Your name will be
no bonus damage here.
only as a curse.
And this was really simple. It was, okay, let's decide that Fireball deals more damage, and then just simply make it deal more damage. Good job. And then, let's see, Ice Bolt. So these are all going to do about the same thing. Here's the special one here. This is Magic Missile for Ruby. And this is what I like to do on my channel. It's just if I see somebody having fun with a specific thing, we're going to hit the snooze. I like to just kind of roll with it, lean into it. So this is the same requirements as the other Magic Missile, cannot have any of these other messages, and if the username of the person using this is Ruby, what does this do? Nothing new. It does the same amount of damage to everything else. You know where the change is? What about eating people? I could change it to do that. I really could. Let me explain how to do that here in a second. What this did though is it made Ruby's special. Ruby drew this herself. And that's the only change right here. I could almost have done the same thing. Honestly, I really could have done the same thing here. Is what I could have done is under Magic Missile, where this thing plays this image here. I could have just done a conditional here. 2 conditionals, one that says if it's Ruby, do this. If it's not Ruby, do this. But I didn't do it that way. But just in case you were looking at it, there are certainly different ways to do things that maybe would have made this stack a little bit more manageable. We'll talk about eating people here in a second. The only other really special one here was Acid Splash. And the biggest thing with Acid Splash is that it created, as long as the damage debuff wasn't already the maximum that it could be, it created the damage debuff. First off, it just updated damage debuff. Now, every time the monster attacked, it subtracted damage debuff from it. And then what it also did was it looked at what the damage debuff was currently set at. And depending on what it was set at, it would set a new, this is the streaming software image source, right? It would set a new image source. So that's how we started to get these, like having multiple of this acid on him. As you see, every time I'm clicking this, it's changing it to one where he's got like all of this acid on him and he's super debuffed. And that was just a visual thing. Just a visual thing. It's just changing what image was on top of that monster whenever the debuff got stronger. And then finally, we had the kill check. So after it ran all of this, now remember, it runs this in order, by the way. So after it ran all of the attack spells to see what qualified, it goes and does a kill check. And it says, are any of these hit points lower than 0? If the answer is yes, and this minion was active, first off, deactivate the minion. Minion active, reset it to 0. Now it is not active. Set the minion HP to 100 just in case anything happened. Streaming software, set the visibility to not visible. This is visible, this is not visible. Tell that user that they defeated that person. Add a bunch of points to that user. And then it's gonna do some extra things now because of the way that I've set up the mini game. Let's see if it will let me do it. Come on. You can do it. I believe in you. I believe in my powers. I believe in the powers of my teammates. So once you've killed it, it double made sure to turn off the acid. It would take off the debuff as well. The other thing that it will do, so when this says Archdragon, I'm going to bring these sources back up over here. These are my OBS sources. You'll notice that the Archdragon is the name of this folder here. Thank you, Flamey. I appreciate it. Excuse me. Archdragon is the name of this folder. So now, once you get a kill shot, once it checks to see if you killed something, and you did,
have your fun. When I am done, your name will be whispered, only as a curse.
What this is going to do now, this streaming software source visibility Archdragon, it's just going to turn everything off. Boom, everything off. Fantastic. Yeah, that's what it does. Are there any questions? That is the entirety of the mini game for the most part that you saw.